Necesitas un lápiz, un cuaderno, or el papel. You'll need a pencil, an exercise book, or paper. Hola clase 6. Firstly, I'd like to start by saying a huge well done for your learning last week. I saw some absolutely brilliant paragraphs all about los trabajos, so I'm looking forward to that to continue today. We are going to start by having a review of the vocabulary that we learnt last week. We're going to have a look back at the paragraphs. We're going to be looking at assessing them, so make sure please that you've got that ready as well. So if we go over the vocabulary, then we can obviously start off with the images that we saw last week. Now, slightly different this week because the Spanish words are covered up. So what I want you to do is to tell me what the job is in Spanish, okay? So, for the first one, en español. Muy bien, vendedor. Vendedor, a seller. And the next one. Médico. Médico. Médico is a medic. And the next one. Remember, it's a female. Y muy bien, es profesora. 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 Muy bien. Es policía. Policía. Now, the police is a feminine word, which is why that one ends in the letter A. Next one. Y es camarero. Camarero. Muy bien. The next one, the masculine and feminine words. The first one should be easy. We've just done it. Es un poco más difícil. It's a little bit trickier. Es camarero y es camarera. Muy bien. Es camarero y es camarera. Muy bien. Y finalmente, and finally, muy bien. Es vendedora y es vendedor. Y otra vez, and again, es vendedora y es vendedor. Muy bien. Bueno, okay, so now we're going to do a speed challenge. So for this, you are going to need your lápiz, your pencil, y el papel, and paper. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say the name of un trabajo, a job in Spanish. Your challenge is to write down the English translation as quickly as possible. Equally, I might give you the job in English and you've got to write the Spanish, okay? If you want to, as part of an alternative challenge, when I say the word in Spanish, you could maybe draw that profession or something to do with that profession as well, okay? So, here's the first one. Médico. Médico. Muy bien, it is a doctor or a medic, okay? If you need a little bit more time on the next one, then that's absolutely fine as well. What I want you to do, if you do need more time, is just to pause the video. That's not a problem, okay? The next one, in English. Shopkeeper. Muy bien, es vendedor or vendedora. Muy bien, fantástico. Next one. Policía. Muy bien. Police, or the police, a policeman or police lady. Okay, next one. Camarero. Camarero. Ah, excelente. Es a waiter, a male waiter. Y finalmente, finally, a waitress. Sí, es camarera. Muy bien. Hola, voy a hablar de mi familia. Mi padre se llama Nick, trabaja en la oficina. Mi madre es profesora y tiene 64 años. Mi hermana es camarera en un café cada miércoles. Adiós. Okay, so as part of the next part of the lesson, we're going to have a look back at the paragraphs of writing that we did last week based on our family and the jobs that they do. So, what I want to do first is to have a look at mine as an example, and I want you to have a think about the 3 different criteria that I've selected that I've listed on the right hand side. When I've finished speaking, pause the video and spend a little bit of time thinking about the paragraph, thinking about making sure that the masculine and feminine words agree, so camarero or camarera, etc. Think about how much information I've given about my family, and think about as well the adjectives that I've used to really kind of enhance my paragraph further. As I say, we're going to come back together and we'll talk about it a little bit more, but use those 3 as a base criteria for analysing my paragraph. Fantastico. So hopefully you spent quite a bit of time doing that, and as you can see on the screen now, I've started to highlight some of the things that you hopefully will have found. The masculine and feminine words that agree are highlighted in blue, so you'll be able to see where I'm talking about a female, so my mother and my sister. Obviously I've made sure the type of work ends in a. I've started to underline the information about the family. Obviously I've given extra information about my dad that is called Nick, information about my mum that she's 64 years old, but you can probably work out that I'd like to see a little bit more. So maybe for each member of the family, I could have that little bit extra. Equally, I've picked out, or I've not actually been able to pick out adjectives about my family, and that's definitely something that moving forward as part of a self-assessment that I'd like to be able to do. So now what I want you to do is, again, when I finish speaking, pause the video, and I want you to think of 2 stars and a wish for your paragraph. It may be that it follows the same pattern. It might be that you look at some other elements, for example, that if you've got adjectives, that you're making sure that the adjectives come after the noun, as it does in Spanish. But equally, I'd be interested to see what some of your self-assessments show. Bueno, okay, so following on from the 2 stars and a wish that we've just discussed, here is my redraft of my paragraph. So I'm going to read it to you now in Spanish, give you a little bit of time to translate it, a little bit of time to think about what I've added to it to make it even better, and then I'll tell you the translation in English as well. Okay, escuchad. Hola a todos, hoy voy a hablar de mi familia pequeño. Mi padre se llama Nick, trabaja en la oficina cada día de la semana. Es muy ocupado. Mi madre es profesora de francés y tiene 64 años. Mi hermana pequeña es camarera en un café grande cada miércoles. Adiós. Bueno, okay, so firstly, have a go at translating that yourself now into English. Pause the video if you need to. Y segundo, and secondly, I would like you to now have a look at it, think about what I've added in to make this even better, and think about how it makes it better. Bueno, okay, so you should have obviously noticed that I've added in adjectives. I've talked about my small family, I've talked about my little sister, I've talked about how my dad is really busy at work, and they're all words that you could use when you up-level your own paragraphs in a few moments' time. To translate it, obviously into English, hola todos means hello everyone. So hello everyone, today I'm going to talk about my small family. My father is called Nick and he works in an office every day of the week. He's really busy. My mother is a French teacher and she is 64 years old. My little sister is a waitress in a big cafe every single Wednesday. Goodbye. Hope that you managed to get as much of that as possible. Excelente if you managed to do that. Bueno, okay, so now moving back onto your paragraphs that you did last week. Now what I want you to do, if you haven't already, is to make sure that you've really analysed it, really looked at what sort of things you did well, what sort of things you could do better. And then the next step essentially is to redraft your paragraph, adding in more detail. So really focusing on those adjectives, make sure they come after the noun. Really focusing on the masculine and feminine words agreeing, and really making sure that you've got as much detail as possible in your paragraphs. As with last week, I look forward to seeing many of them uploaded onto Seesaw. I look forward to seeing them looking even better, and then obviously I'll be able to read them and translate them myself. As we come on to the next time, we're going to move on to a different kind of subject or topic, which is going to be all about an ideal house. So thinking about obviously what's in a house, looking at the rooms in the house, we can even look at the people in the house as well. So I'll look forward to obviously seeing you then. Hope that you found today useful again. Obviously I look forward, as I keep saying, to seeing some of your work. Adios!